dark haze. Ladies of the night with eyes of red, vampires in the alleys where good men dread, wolfmen howling beneath the pale moon. But justice is coming and coming soon. From saloons to graveyards where evil sleeps, they walk among us, secrets they keep, nightmare hunters with souls ablaze, cleaning up this town through the dark haze. Cryptids themselves, yet they stand tall against the darkness, answering the call for every lost soul, every whispered prayer. They fight for the light in the midnight air. From saloons to graveyards where evil sleeps, they walk among us, secrets they keep, nightmare hunters with souls ablaze, cleaning up this town through the dark haze. The night is young, the hunt begins. For against the darkness where hope never ends.
In the shadows of forgotten lore, where legends leave footprints and nightmares are written in blood. He's the voice of modern horror, the best-selling author and cryptid researcher, the name behind the nightmare. D.A. Roberts. Joining him in the field, renowned author and field investigator, the man who tracks what others fear to name. The cryptid hunter, the cast master, the one they call Robbie Jed Rains. And the voice of reason in the madness, the analyst, the investigator, the one who sees through the fog. Carrie Doc Davis. Together, they walk the edge of legend and reality. This is the Nightmare Hunter Podcast.
Good evening, folks, and thank you all for joining us for this Wednesday edition of the Nightmare Hunters podcast. Hopefully, we're going to have a good show for y'all tonight. We got a relatively full house. Unfortunately, we don't have Steve tonight, but we got Robbie Jed Rains and Carrie Pocket Doc Davis both joining us. Well, Doc, I'm liking that vest, brother. That looks kind of familiar.
Yeah, might be one that was worn in the Dark Frontier series, maybe.
Very much could be. I'm going to have to get me one of them. I like them. That is nice.
Thank you, sir.
Boys, how the hell are you?
Wyatt, I am rolling.
Robbie, how you doing, brother?
Kind of hard to follow that, but I'm here.
Boys, glad you guys are here tonight. Appreciate you being here. And I know we got us a big holiday weekend coming up, and with a holiday tomorrow, where we're all going to eat till we're ready to explode. But I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good day.
Same. And to start it out right, man. I want y'all to know that I'm thankful for y'all. And
brother, I'm thankful for both y'all and for Steve and for everybody that's part of the Nightmare Nation. Man,
amen.
It's a pleasure to be hanging out with y'all, and we're proud to be part of it. And you guys are our family to us, and we're damn glad to have you guys along for the journey.
We're thankful for y'all. We're thankful for the chat. We're thankful for everybody that supports us and prays for us and keeps us in your thoughts. So we thank y'all.
Race was going to be with us tonight, but he had to get a hold of me at the last minute. He had a unfortunate kitchen emergency. They were making dinner, prepping everything tonight, and pan gave way, and he lost the whole turkey.
Oh no!
He said, fortunately, his brother had another one thawed, so they're just going to be cooking later than they'd planned. But, he had a kitchen-based emergency. He said he burnt the crap out of his arm, but not bad enough to go to the hospital or nothing.
Well, thank God he's not worse, man. Good Lord.
Yeah, it could have been a lot worse.
Amen.
I told him I fully understood, because me and my son Nick did the same thing with a lasagna about 6 months ago. We were taking it out of the oven, and the whole side of the pan, because we using an aluminum foil pan, one of those ones you buy at the store, and the side of it just came apart, and we lost an entire lasagna on the floor.
Man, I like to do that with pecan pie this evening, and that stuff would have stuck like napalm too. You know what I mean? Good.
Oh yeah,
all the filling. It started sloshing around that little aluminum pie pan, and scared me.
When that lasagna hit the floor, it was fresh from the oven. It was piping hot, and that dumbass dog of mine was over there going,
no.
And it'd go, and then he'd jump down in it again. I'm like, you idiot, let it cool off at least.
Poor Harley.
Oh, he wouldn't stop, man. He was burning his tongue, but he was getting right back in there. He'd go back in for another bite as soon as he got his tongue to quit burning.
It's so painful, but so delicious.
Yeah. He ended up getting quite a bit of it while we were trying to clean it up. But I felt bad for him. But I still felt bad. I still felt worse about losing an entire lasagna, because it was a big one too.
Oh man.
We make a lasagna and we make a big one.
Yeah, those are some big pans too, man. You'd think they'd reinforce them suckers a little bit better, put some buttresses in there or something, because they all like floppy and everything when you take it.
So now, whenever we put one of those in the oven, we put it on a cookie sheet.
Smart. Angie said that today when I was putting the pies in the oven. You sure you don't want a cookie sheet? I was like, nah, I'll be fine.
Use cookie sheet, Doc.
Always listen to your betters, folks, is all I got to say. Always listen to your betters, because she knew better.
Famous last words. I'll be fine.
I'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
It's all right. Hold my beer and watch this.
Y'all watch this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Famous last words from rednecks. Y'all hold my beer and watch this.
Amen.
It's funny, guys, that folks listening to us at home. We were just talking about before the show. We were just talking about all the stupid crap we did as kids, and was amazed we survived it to grow up to adulthood.
It is amazing that we are not without our sight. I'm serious. I mean, I said that. When I wear one of my vests, I'm packing heat. Well. No sense tonight.
Arlen, while I don't have one on my belt, I have 5 pistols, an AR, and a shotgun within grasp.
I like your style, sir.
And probably 1,500 rounds of ammunition between a lot of them.
Nice. Robbie?
And that's just with an easy grasp. If I go to the gun cabinet over yonder, it'd be a lot more.
My hand is resting as we speak.
I was going to say, how are you set for armament, sir?
My other hand is resting as we speak.
Yeah, it's a significant amount of I think I'm the third largest standing army in Missouri right at this particular moment. That includes the reserves and the National Guard.
We have to make sure we are adequately supplied, gentlemen.
Damn right.
Nothing wrong
But
with
anyway, I know we could do an entire show talking about us miscreants being idiot kids, and we'd probably get some good laughs out of it. Who knows? It might happen one of these nights. But tonight we're going to be talking about famous disappearances, and there's been a bunch of them. I mean, when you really stop and think about it, a lot of these cases have been public, and we just kind of forget about they even happened. Hell, if you're not even taking into account David Paulides' missing 411, there's still a lot of folks, even some high priority folks, who went missing and were later found deceased or not found at all. And when you get the official explanation, if you get one at all, it just doesn't fit the facts of the disappearance. And in some cases, it makes no sense whatsoever, the official story. Kind of like, and it's not a famous person, but kind of like that incident that happened back in 2022 here in Missouri with the Amazon driver. What they claimed it was dogs that did it, but they had to break into the house to kill the dogs that supposedly killed the guy. And he was found outside the fence. So unless the dogs let themselves out of the house, let themselves out of the fence, mauled and ate the guy, then put the fence back, got back in the house and locked the door, something ain't right.
I mean,
There's a little Doc.
There's little Doc. He was requested by the audience. And what you said, DA, me and you and Robbie have talked this on several shows. What about the DNA samples? What DNA samples?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Or, like in Meeker, Colorado, unknown canine.
Unknown canine.
And in this day and age, how does it an unknown canine?
And how were there prints all around the kills, but no prints around the 8-foot high fence?
There's a lot of non sequiturs in some of these.
Right. Ain't that right, Doc?
That's right.
That's right, Doc.
Little L'Oreal dog himself. He's the cover girl dog.
Little Fabio.
He's like, Dad, just shut up and scratch my belly.
Just why is this belly not being attended to?
He's not spoiled rotten. No, not at all.
Well, that's you. That little blonde-headed tiger meat piano wire stabby girl in there. Yeah, that's the one.
Just a guy said, he said, dogs last year, bears and lightning monsters this year. It's funny you say that because there was another bear attack.
Another one?
Another bear attack. Annette was reading this one to me in the paper. I believe this one was here in Missouri, and I'd have to ask her because she read the article to me. But I wanted to mention it on the show. It's not one I've been able to. I haven't really found much more on it. Just the one mention, and it kind of disappeared. But an elderly couple in their home, somehow a bear got in their home and mauled them both to death.
Well, them bears have been more efficient with lockpicks here lately.
That's right.
The bears are big with B&E here lately, Robbie.
Apparently. Yeah, it went in the house and killed both of them.
Using them claws as lockpicks.
That's right.
I guess so. Where was it, DA?
I believe it was here in Missouri. I'll have to ask Annette. Let me send her a textification.
Yeah.
And
just a guy who said, DA, that sounds just like the Florida incident back in April/May.
Exactly what we were saying with that, because that one's weird.
Yeah,
Hold
bears
on.
Like Robbie said, the bears are getting really good with picking them locks. They've been watching Mission Impossible. I don't know.
Well, they watched the lockpicking lawyer on YouTube.
That's true. I hadn't seen that dude. I heard about him. I have not seen him.
Yeah.
Okay, I texted her whether
Hey,
or
boo-boo.
not she sees
What's
it.
this guy on YouTube?
Yeah, but this she was just reading this one to me a couple of days ago, and I meant to mention it the other night. But yeah, it was an elderly couple in their home. A bear somehow got inside, and she said she didn't remember crap. Well, I guess she can't find. She probably won't remember where she got the article, but I believe it was here in Missouri somewhere.
Yeah,
There's an elderly couple in their home.
Toshi said they heard about it and said they thought it was Missouri too.
Let me Google it.
That's so sad.
I'm going to consult the Googles.
It killed both of them.
That's what I read. What Annette read to me.
Mercy. Angela Monroe said the bear climbed in the window.
Came down the chimney. It was bear claws. Oh, it wasn't in Missouri. It was on the right on the California Nevada border.
That's curious.
It's unclear how the bear got into the home or if it did any damage.
Well, I'd say it did damage if it killed them both.
I would say that's a big positive, sir.
Kind of nuts. Yeah, that's another bear attack.
PW 112473 said maybe it's a bear looking for a picnic basket.
The picnic basket.
Hey, boo.
Well, here's my thing. If it didn't rip the door off the hinges or smash a window out, that took hands.
Correct.
Now, if it didn't smash a window out or rip the door off its hinges, that took hands.
Man.
Maybe the elderly couple thought it was a house cat. Yeah, kitty, 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 kitty. That'll be me, the old elderly guy on the porch with popcorn feeding bears.
Did it say what kind of bear it was? Supposedly,
it said black bear.
Them dang black bears here lately are just they got tired of the grizzlies and the Kodiaks and polar bears having all the.
Yeah, we're seeing an awful lot of black bear attacks.
That's what I'm thinking. They're like the most non-violent encounter with human bears out there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they had a grizzly up in Canada that hurt like 11 school kids and a couple other people they were doing a nature hike, and some bears just skibbity paps all of them. You know what I mean?
Lisa said, "Throw the flag, Doc."
Doc's got to get the flag. Where's the flag? Are you wearing cow print pants? Oh no, those are boots.
No, those are my pajamas, sir.
Those are your boot jammies, huh?
That's right. I don't know where my flag is. I gotta find it.
Uh-oh. Doc's lost the flag.
We'll have to find the flag.
Well, from what it looked like, there's a famous disappearance that was not far from there. Julian Sands.
Yep.
They found him, but he was missing for days on an easy trail that he had hiked many times before, and he was an award-winning hiker.
He's a world-class.
Yeah. He was a world-class, world-renowned hiker.
Flag has been thrown.
Yeah, that's the first famous case is right there, the Julian Sands case.
Julian Sands, like you said, him being a world-class hiker. I mean, this dude. Let's be devil's advocate here. Could he have, being world-class, gotten complacent? It happened.
It was a marked, easy trail.
True. I get that, but could he have gotten complacent?
Maybe,
very possibly. But
what was it likely that he'd be found miles from the trail?
But that's what there's the rub right there. He's not going to get so freaking disoriented that they find him miles from the trail.
Yeah, did he forget literally everything? Did he have did he just, dementia just go, and it's all in 1 second?
And I don't know if they could tell this by the remains. I think his remains are pretty skeletal, but could they have determined that he had a cerebrovascular accident or a stroke? Because if he did have a stroke, could have had a medical emergency and gone that way?
I don't remember if they ever released cause of death.
So, but
let me consult the Googles on that.
Here, man. I'm just trying to be devil's advocate because a stroke could cause a lot of things, but Miles, he would have been. I think he would have probably been incapacitated before he made it. Miles.
Yeah, because
the official cause of death is still listed as undetermined.
But that you kind of answer your own question with that, Doc, and you know that if that was the case.
Correct. That's where I was going with that. I'm glad you picked up on it, man. Because from my experiences doing critical care and everything like that with stroke patients, if they don't make it to the hospital pretty quick, they ain't gonna make it, Miles.
Yeah.
So
That, and he went hiking in the same San Gabriel Mountains, and his remains were found on Mount Baldy,
Oof.
And
miles away
but
in rough terrain.
Mm-hmm.
the big thing is this is not the first time he'd ever hiked that.
That's
that
exactly
trail.
what I was going to say, Robbie. That was a trail that was not unknown to him. It was a familiar.
And he was not the only person hiking that trail that day either.
Mm.
He was hiking alone, but there were other people that were on the trail that day that reported seeing him on the trail.
And it's not like he's an just a
Right.
an average everyday unrecognizable person that people. I mean, it's Julian Sands. He's been in multiple movies.
Well, and
Yeah, he went missing in January 2023, so
and also
almost 3 years ago.
And that community's pretty small too, so they recognize one another, and they're like, "Oh, they may not hike on the same days. Oh, such and such is on the trail today. Jill or Bob."
Plus, he's an experienced hiker. He knows when to tell someone where he's going, when he's going to be back. And a lot of those trails, especially in national parks, you've got to sign in with the ranger station saying, "I'm hiking this trail. This is the time I'm planning to be back." So there's safety features in place.
Right.
Well, obviously, he did that if they went there looking for him.
Yeah. And it took them a while to find his body, on a trail that it should have been relatively easy to find.
Correct. Yeah. The fact that those two things happen on the same area, that adds some.
That's a little odd.
Yeah. Mystery to it.
Yeah, there does seem to be a lot of weirdness about Julian Sands' death and disappearance. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, we've got tons of examples like that. One of the most famous cases happened in the Great Smoky Mountains back in 1969. There was a young kid by the name of Dennis Martin. He was 6 years old, and he vanished while playing hide and seek with his cousins. His family was all there. They were having a picnic. He disappeared within minutes, and they had a massive search put together in no time at all. They started searching immediately, but a nearby witness reported seeing a wild, hairy man carrying something through the woods that matched the description of the kid. And here's where this one gets even weirder. Doc, how often does Special Forces units join search and rescue units in a national park?
My time working with those guys, I've never heard of any of them doing it.
Well, a Special Forces unit flew in to help look for Dennis Martin.
So they flew in. They weren't already on scene doing like mountaineering training or anything like that.
They were there. They, according to the witnesses at the time, they were there within hours, but they weren't. They got called in.
So they'd have been coming from Fort Bragg. So
Yeah, depending on
and by helicopter, that's just a couple hours away.
Yeah. And that was in the Smokies. So, I mean, yeah, it could have been Fort Bragg, could have been Fort Campbell, 5th Special Forces Group, whatever. But even still, don't they have National Guard in the area they could have activated prior to doing that?
Not to mention search and rescue, you get hundreds of volunteers.
Absolutely. I mean, they still had stuff back in the day.
I've seen them move heaven and earth to get a full rescue team out looking for a kid. I've seen that happen, but I've never once seen a Special Forces team called in.
No, nor have I.
Well, I mean, think about that woman that went missing up here last year or first this year in Table Rock when that big fire happened. The entire sheriff's office and just about every city agency around sent people up there, had all the fire departments in there walking around looking for her. Never once did we have anybody from the military other than people who might have been, National Guard or Army Reserve at the time that while they're working at these agencies, but there was never a military unit that went in to look for her.
Yeah, why would they? That's not in their not in their purview,
Kay Bauer says, were they fully armed? That's the $1 million question. And from the reports I read, yes, they showed up in full kit.
Yeah, I can't imagine them sending out however many ODAs, A teams, whatever, without
Yeah,
being
they're
This
not.
would have been while Vietnam was going on. So it's highly likely if they came out of Fort Bragg, they were probably a Green Beret AT.
And I wonder if you could go back into military records, would you see the deployment at all? And if you did, would it be labeled where they were going, and if it would be labeled as a training mission?
My guess is if it shows up at all, it would be highly redacted.
Yeah,
Or show up as a training mission.
which they can do whatever.
Yeah.
But you just, that's unheard of for them to bring in a Special Forces A team
Just like
during the
always.
height of the Vietnam War, when those guys were, when they were stateside, they were either training or being given downtime before they went back. So for them to get pulled and sent just for a missing child, that's
And
unheard of.
Angela's bringing up. She said, "Wasn't her little boy that went missing in North Carolina?" And said something. Yes.
Yeah.
He went missing. Was missing for a couple of
Thank
days.
you, Jimmy. 3 days. He was going 3 days.
Yep. And was lit. They literally searched every square inch of ground, and then he was found within 150 yards of where he went missing. Da, wasn't that the number? Something like that.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Not far.
I believe he was found just a little ways outside his fence.
Yeah, and he was off the road, and he was in it took them, because they had to go through a swampy area to get to him, but he was completely dry and it had been raining.
I'll be right back, guys. I'm sorry.
He was not suffering from any kind of exposure or anything like that. And his aunt had put on Facebook, and she's since taken it down, because I did a show on this. That's why I know I did all the research on it. But his aunt put on Facebook, after he had been reunified with his family and everything, that the little boy said a bear took care of him and brought him berries and took care of him and kept him warm.
Bears don't do that.
Nope. Well,
there was wintertime, so if there was a bear awake at all, it would probably eat the kid because food's scarce. It certainly wouldn't have been. How did it bring a kid berries? To come in with a mouthful and spit them out?
I don't know, but that's what she took it down. I think she took it down because she was told to take it down.
I think so too.
But that was what the original post said, was that the little boy said that a bear took care of him, kept him warm, brought him berries, and brought him back to where he needed to be for them to find him.
Now I can't speak for
bear behavior.
Yeah, I can't speak for bears everywhere, but that just does not sound like typical bear behavior to me. Number one, in a dead of winter, if there was a meat source, that bear's going to eat it. And two, how did it bring him berries? Now, I understand how a kid could keep warm cuddled up against a bear, but bears don't do that.
Nope. Unless his name is Yogi or Boo Boo or Baloo or Ben.
Yeah.
Probably not going to happen.
Unless that kid was eating berries that thing brought in its mouth. Something with hands brought that kid berries. And I can't imagine a bear coming back with a mouthful of berries.
Well, Doc,
no, it was dead of winter when he went missing.
How long would it take a child around that age to start suffering from exposure? He wasn't dressed to be out in the wet, and it rained almost the entire time. It was in dead of winter. How long would it take for exposure to take somebody's life of that age?
What was the temperature?
It was dead of winter, so it was freezing temperatures.
Literally, it could be within an hour. He would start experiencing profound hypothermia because, minor hypothermia is 95 to 93 degrees, or normally 98.6. Moderate to severe is 92 to 86. Anything below 85 degrees, that could occur. His core temperature could have dropped down severely within an hour to 2 hours, especially if he's wet. Because
it was raining.
That's going to increase the loss of body heat through convection to the outside environment. So yeah, literally within an hour. You think about it, like the Titanic, those people were literally hypothermic within 5 minutes.
Yeah. Here's what Google has to say about this. says in January 2019, a 3-year-old boy named Casey Hathaway went missing in North Carolina and was found after 2 days, reportedly having been kept safe and alive by a friendly bear. While the details of the bear's involvement are debated, the boy was found alive and unharmed in the woods and insisted a bear had stayed with him and kept him warm. Casey Hathaway went missing from his grandmother's backyard in Ernle, North Carolina, while playing with other children. A massive search was launched involving hundreds of volunteers and law enforcement, despite difficult terrain and cold, rainy weather. He was found after 2 days, tangled in thornberry bushes, and was cold but in otherwise good condition. When rescuers found him, he told them a friendly bear had stayed with him the entire time, never leaving his side, and that it kept him warm. The story captured the world's attention, with many people finding it miraculous, whether the bear was literal or a product of the child's imagination. The Craven County Sheriff's Office has confirmed that Casey told them it was a bear that was with him in the forest.
Hmm.
They went out of their way to say it was a bear multiple times in that little article.
Funny, ain't that?
Yeah.
And then the sheriff's department makes an official statement. The child said it was bear. Well, he was also 3, and he got plucked from a yard with other kids in it.
How far is that from Lejeune? I think I can't remember because I think we. Yeah, you can throw it, Doc.
I'm going to have to look that back up. Do you remember what I said the name of that town was?
It's like Errol or something like that.
Ernle?
Yeah,
Ernle.
Because I think me and Johnny hit on that. I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, it's not far from Lejeune, which there's been a lot of sightings around Lejeune.
You know, and it's funny, there's a lot of sightings because we've done shows on this before too. Sightings around military installations.
1 hour, 12 minutes by car, 62 miles.
So,
but guess what separates them? Guess what separates Little Ernle, North Carolina, with Camp Lejeune?
National Forest.
The Croatoan National Forest.
No, there's that Croatoa again.
Things that make you go.
I thought there was a close connection to Lejeune with that. I just couldn't remember. It's been so long since Johnny and I did that show. I couldn't remember, but I thought it was not far, especially for something like that that would have a lot bigger range than 62 miles.
Yeah,
because 62 miles walking for something like that's probably like us walking,
That's probably a day's range. Doc, what you probably remember this better than I am. What's the average walking speed for a human in good physical shape? Is it like
you can. I mean, like on a normal pace.
Yeah, just a walking pace.
2 to 3 miles an hour.
So if you walked for 8 hours in a course of a day, let's say at 3 miles an hour, that's 24 miles. And that's with a normal person stride and without really humping it. And I remember in the Army doing a 24-mile ruck march in a single day. And we were some tired sons of bitches, but we did it.
You're something, man.
And that's with a full pack on our back. We were wiped out.
We were doing a mile a mile an hour. So we were doing 4 miles an hour. We were doing 15-minute miles of fully loaded ruck. So 4 miles an hour. Yeah, that's cruising.
Granted, I was in a lot better shape in those days.
That's cruising. That's cruising.
But if you got a 6.5 foot plus stride length,
double that.
Yeah, you're
at
cooking.
least.
I mean, and I'm saying in a conservative manner, double that, because what's our stride length?
3 feet, maybe.
Mine's like 18 inches. You know what I mean? So, because I like Doc, I'm like the cartoons when running. But yeah, you're looking. Let's say 36 inches.
Average human male stride length is about 34 to 38 inches.
Okay, so let's hit that right in the middle. What's that? 3 foot. That's 1 yard. So yeah.
Now we're talking over unbroken terrain, though. When you start throwing in like hills, valleys, and all kinds of broken terrain, that number goes out the window.
Right. And Robbie, you have tracked through broken terrain. So what does that do to the stride length? lengthens,
Our stride length, it shortens it.
shortens it. Yeah, exactly. But with them, they're able to just cruise over crap that will be obstacles to us. So, yeah,
Yep.
biology matters, folks.
So, if it's, there's a ton of sightings around Camp Lejeune, and the Croatoan National Forest is right there. How many sightings you think are in the Croatoan? That's worth a quick Google.
I'm about to say, Google it up.
Hey, can I
Bigfoot sightings in the
pause y'all for just a second?
Croatoan.
Just one quick question.
Shoot.
Where is it? God dang it! I think I might have went right past it. Chat's coming in very fast. Thank y'all. Oh, here it was. It was Nick Bohr 3679. What if it was a female that had lost a child and was trying to place with that child, with the nurturing aspect? Very well could have been. Or it could have been. It could have just been a female that was very nurturing. Very motherly. I don't know. Very matronly. I don't know. That's a good point. Good point. But look at Harambe, God bless him. When he protected that baby. So didn't eat it, rip it apart.
But that was the point I was about to bring up, Doc. How many stories in the wild and in zoos and things like that are there of primates protecting kids like that versus how many stories have you ever heard other than this one of a bear taking care of a child?
Never.
I just looked it up. I couldn't find any specific accounts from the Croatoan, but the article I said that there are lots of incidental sighting reports from the Croatoan.
Not surprised.
I'd have to dig a little bit more at a little bit more length, but that would digress us a little too much from the subject at hand.
Mm-hmm. I do enjoy your verbosity, sir.
Bounty hunting. I don't remember if he was on the spectrum at all, or he wasn't deaf, obviously, because he was talking to him. But I don't remember if he was on the spectrum or not.
Okay. I don't think they ever said.
Yeah, I don't remember reading anything like that. But
the kid was in a fenced-in yard with other kids. How'd the kid get out? Yeah, that's what that article said, that he was at his grandmother's house with other children playing in a fenced-in yard.
Something reached over the fence and snatched him up.
That would be my guess.
You like that, Doc?
Yeah, something reached over the fence. Let me snatch your little butt up out of here. See, a true Southerner appreciates that.
Yeah, I'm right there with Robbie on that, and I think he was scooped up out of there.
Yeah, otherwise,
I think the only reason she brought him back is because the humans were out there beating the bushes looking for this kid.
Yeah, because if there was a hole in the fence, if one goes through, y'all know children, they have a herd mentality. One goes through, the other one's going to follow that sucker all the way through.
Miss Naomi says, how did the kids how the other kids fail to see the bear? No interview with the other kids was ever published. So we don't know what the other kids told them.
That's the only.
Kay Bauer says, what about his shoes? Still in shoes or no shoes? There's no information on that either. No article I've read mentions whether or not the kid had shoes on or not. I would assume so since he was playing outside in the wintertime, but I'm a hillbilly. I'm a hillbilly in the Ozarks, from the Missouri Ozarks, and I can tell you, if I could get my shoes off when I was a kid, I was outside without them on.
So,
just a guy says DA didn't mention where or how they found the missing boy. It said he was found in a bramble patch, but when it first happened, it said he was found within 100 yards of the fence in an area that had been heavily searched.
Yeah, and it took they found him, but it took them a significant amount of time to get to him because of how the thickness of the brush he was in. Because it had been raining, it was almost like a boggy type area. I think they even used the word swampy at one point in some of the. But they found him. They knew where he was at, and I'm assuming they flew a drone over again and caught sight of him or something like that. But it took them a significant amount of time to get from where they were at when they located him to him, just because of how thick and how inaccessible it was where he was at. And I do remember somebody was like, I don't know how he got into the area that he was at without getting cut up, because it was so thick and so.
And it said the kid was fine other than being a little cold.
Yeah.
If that kid been out in the freezing rain in January
for 2 days,
for 2 days, that kid would have been dead. Stray Wolf Forge says, I wonder if the kid was being held underground nearby. Well, could have been, it was keeping him warm in a cave. That'd be about the only way they would keep that kid, from getting wet.
Yeah, I mean, something like that would have had to shelter him and keep him warm. I mean,
and again, the binging him berries. I don't know too many kids are going to pick berries out of a bear's mouth and eat them.
Right. And Naoma has a good question. How'd the kid smell? Was he stanky? You know what I mean?
Well, there's been a lot of speculation that there was a Bigfoot involved in this. And at first, the aunt of the kid was saying, yeah, we think it was Bigfoot. And then they shut her up fast.
Yeah. She was the one that
she even pulled all her social media posts.
She was the one that broke it on her Facebook page. And I kept saying, John, this was Lance and I, this was the second show that we ever did on this. And we did a real deep dive on it. And we went through and looked at her Facebook page. George, I will hug you.
I would love him. Squeeze him and call him George.
Tell me about the rabbits, George. Tell me about the rabbits.
But we did. Penny. We actually went back and looked through her Facebook page, and it was like scrubbed.
Roxanne, I think that's a very likely possibility. It was either a mother that had lost one, or a younger female. The maternal instincts kicked in. She wanted the baby, and she took it. And probably either the fact that there were so many people out there looking for the kid made her bring it back, or the rest of the clan like, you can't keep that thing. They're looking for it. That would be my guess.
I mean, that's a good theory. That's a good theory.
I think it makes sense.
Yeah. Wow. Man. That was in 1969?
No, that was
that was in 2019. Rodney says Croatoan National Forest is in Craven County, North Carolina, the county where he went missing.
Holy crap, dude.
So that county's in the National Forest. That'd be like a kid going missing in Douglas County, Missouri. What? Kid went missing in Booger County? No.
Yeah, right. I mean, honestly, El Paso County is a big county, but if somebody went missing out here, that would be news. I mean,
Angela Monroe's got a good question. What berries in winter?
Yeah, did they have stores?
Kid said it, but the bear brought him berries. I didn't even think about that. What berries bloom in the dead of winter?
That's a good point, man.
Berries that have already been picked.
Yeah, so
berries that have been stored.
Have to have some kind of larder somewhere to store those things in. Huh.
Well, I know the old homesteaders used to can stuff and put it in a root cellar to keep it good for months and years. So it makes perfect sense. The Native Americans had ways to store food. Why wouldn't these things?
Well, if they stayed in caves like we've talked about, where's a perfect place to keep stuff like that?
Nice and cold.
Artemis, that's literally exactly what I thought. What I thought. The rest of the clan said, "You need to put that kid back. They ain't gonna quit looking for him. Little Johnny got to go."
Yeah.
Get that hairless monkey out of here.
Well, Naomi has a good point too. If it was a female Bigfoot, it might have been a case of returning defective food at the deli counter for a full refund.
K Bowers, that's the funny thing. North Carolina, South Carolina, anywhere near Appalachia, anywhere along that Appalachian Trail, since God was a corporal. You can ask Robbie, you can ask Doc. Hell, the same thing they told us here in Missouri. Kids, don't you be in them woods after dark. Them boogers will get you.
Yep.
That's
My
something
great grandmother used to tell me that all the time.
100%.
Yeah, that's something that has been told to us Ozarks hillbillies since since there was Ozarks hillbillies.
Daddy used to say, "Them boogers and haints will get you." The haints, you don't want the haints after you.
Don't you go too far in them woods, and boogers will get you.
Artemis says, I do feel that they're humanoid beings and they're close to us. I think they're somewhere on our family tree. Yeah. Whether or not that, because humans are technically apes as well. Yeah, we are part of the great ape family, whether people want to admit it or not. If you look at the great ape family tree, Homo sapiens are on it. But whether or not, Bigfoot is an extremely intelligent great ape or somewhere along the hominid side of the family tree, we don't know. I personally think if I had to guess, I'm going to lean toward the hominid side, because we really don't have to look very far back in our own ancestry to see things like Denisovians and Neanderthals. That we've got plenty of hairy, upright hominids in our history to look at. Kate Bauer says, so then that leads me to another question: is the family of the missing native to the area? Yeah, they apparently, from what the story was saying, they'd lived in that area a good long time. The grandmother was there, the family was there. So my guess is they're very native to the area. Jeff Yarrington says, my grandfather never liked us being out after dark, and now I know why. Just a guy says, do you think it would warrant the euthanization of a Bigfoot if it took a kid to replace its own, even if someone believed that it was done in good faith? Dude, make no mistake. Unless it's in a defense, immediate defense of life, I have no desire to see one harmed. If the three of us were out in the woods and one of them charged us, if it breaks off, fine. But if it means we've got to shoot at it to keep from dying, that's the only way I'm going to do it. When we go out, our intention is never to kill one. I don't want to see one harmed. Again, the only way I would do it is to protect life in imminent threat.
Oh, let me give you two examples: Blanc Road and Moon Valley.
Yeah, none of us cracked a single shot.
Absolutely not.
We were certainly under no impression that we needed to get our butts out of there.
Right.
We didn't open fire on Combs Ferry either.
Nope, y'all didn't. Yeah, I wasn't there for that one, but
we were pretty close. But
yeah, I mean, how many sets of ice shine y'all see on the shore?
At least a dozen.
Jesus. And that ain't deer.
No, they were not deer.
So, unless you're deer on stilts, stand on
I was just about to say, unless they're standing up on stilts.
Great.
Well, I got another famous one for you. This one happened in Yosemite National Park in 1981.
We're at 49 minutes, DA. Do you want to start?
We're at 49 minutes? Yeah. We got 6 minutes.
I just want to make sure
until we got to make the quick commercial break. Let's talk about this one for just a couple minutes, because I've got two from Yosemite, but we'll talk about the first one, then we'll have our quick commercial break, and then we will pop back in and start right up on it. But in Yosemite National Park, which is in California, for those of you who are unaware, a young girl named Stacy Ann Arras, 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 in 1981, she was 14 years old. She vanished after she walked a short distance away from her parents to take pictures of a lake. There was a lake near where they were camping, and she just wanted to walk a little ways from the campsite to take pictures. The only thing that they have ever found was the telephoto lens from her camera. They found the lens, and despite an exhaustive search of the area, no remains have ever been found. And she was never out of sight of the campsite.
All they found was her lens?
All they found was the lens, telephoto lens.
Yeah, that's not weird at all.
No, it is not. Barry Beezer says, in the Smokies, there's a recognized group of feral humans. Dennis Martin could have been taken by them. I'm from that area and have also been told that in military, the military comes in every few years to thin the ferals. That wouldn't surprise me. I've heard stories of feral people. up in the Appalachian Mountains. But it could have just as easily been one of them, or it could have been a Bigfoot. The Dennis Martin case is one of those ones where we just don't know.
That is so weird.
But I've heard lots of stories of feral people. There's stories of feral people here in the Ozarks too.
No crap, really?
There's a place about 2 hours from here that they tell you if you ain't a local, don't you go down that road. It's a gravel road. They said if you drive down that road, you'll see people standing in the trees watching you.
That is weird.
I knew a guy that was a deputy sheriff in that county, and he's like, "Do yourself a favor, brother." He says, "I know you like investigating this stuff, but do yourself a favor and don't go down there. And if you do, if you're dumb enough to go, don't go alone."
Well, that is a big 10-4 on that, son.
Yeah, that's near I plan to stay the hell away from.
Yeah.
I was just about to say, so when are we going?
Yeah.
Well, we might need a few other, amicable folks with higher caliber, pew-pews.
Wyatt.
Some like-minded individuals with the ballistic empowerment. Yes.
Some ballistic integrity.
Yes, yes.
And Jenkins has got his new toys.
Did I tell you what Jenkins did?
Well, save it for the other end of the.
He bought that double-barreled AR. He mounted bayonets on it. It's got twin bayonets on a double-barreled AR.
Lord,
don't know why. He just did. I'll send you the pictures later.
Okay. Hey, before we go on this little break, my brother Dim Bones just sent me something, and this is through that area of North Carolina. There is a winter berry called this is not me, sparkleberry or a
sparkleberry.
I know, or a sparkleberry. They call it a winter huckleberry that is indigenous to that area, and it is fruits in the winter.
Well, that would explain why they stayed in the area. Got a winter food source.
It's not a freaking nerd, brother. Damn, Keith.
Thank you, Keith. Appreciate you, brother.
Thanks, Keith.
Thanks, Keith.
He's got a big nose, don't he?
Well, so right there in North Carolina, there is a winter berry.
Huh. Interesting.
I still don't explain how a bear brings it to him.
Yeah.
Correct.
They come in with berries stuck on the end of his claws.
I come bearing the fruits. Yeah.
Hey, kid. Want a berry?
The bear's like.
That might have a little slobber on it. Sorry about that. My bad.
Sorry about that one. That was a little sticky.
Little slimy. It'll pass.
Steve Payton says he's in. Say when. Well, we're looking to plan an outing sometime probably around spring.
Which is a good thing because if we do this over a long weekend, most of my classes have been covered by my other instructors for next year. So, yeah. So, Dim Bones. Yeah, third nerd here. Yeah.
Arlen, I know exactly what you're talking about. I still got some cousins who make stump liquor. So, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Who hit John?
Do what?
The good old who hit John?
Yeah.
Thank you, Thompson.
USOB, I'm in. Say when.
I am almost toxic. I love these fellows. The Unexplained Network landed a well of a program. Happy Thanksgiving to you all. And to you.
Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Thank you much.
Well, it is 6 minutes still. Race, if you're listening, do you want to handle the commercials or do you want me to? I know he's popped in. I can see him down at the bottom of the screen. But I guess he's just kind of listening. He's probably still working. So I tell you what, we're going to pay some commercials and pay for some groceries and what have you. So I'm going to go ahead and start the commercials, and we will be right back with you folks here in just a couple minutes. So if you don't mind us paying the bills real quick, we will be right back.
The Unx Network presents a health and wellness spiritually based brand of hemp-derived CBD products made by Hopewell Farm in Harrogate, Tennessee. We apply our Cathara energy work with all of our plants and products. Our products made in small batches with only 2 ingredients of pure hemp, full-spectrum crude oil, and coconut-derived MCT oil. Third-party lab tested for potency and legal THC levels with 6 strengths of 1 ounce oil to choose from. Know what you're buying and get what you pay for from Hopewell Farm. Applied directly to a specific area, Hopewell Farm topical salve in 1 ounce and ½ ounce sizes made with pure hemp crude oil, comfrey extract, and all natural ingredients. Find the Hopewell Farm link and coupon code on the Unx Network website at unxnetwork.com. That's unxnetwork.com. The new book, How to Research a Haunted House by paranormal investigator Margie Kay and professional researcher Violet Wisdom, is now available from Unx Media. This one-of-a-kind book explains how to do research on a house with uncommon methods and resources used by historic home researchers, and how to determine who may be doing the haunting and why. How to Research a Haunted House can be used by homeowners, renters, investors, and it should be in the library of all professional paranormal investigators. Get this unique book at unxmedia.com or amazon.com. That's unxmedia.com or amazon.com.
And we are back. And hopefully that'll keep us going for the next hour. And we appreciate you guys tuning back in with us. So, picking right up where we left off, the other one that's in Yosemite National Park. Doc, this one's going to be very shades of Julian Sands. Okay, Timothy Barnes this happened in 1990. He was an experienced, award-winning hiker who had hiked the trail many times before. He was also in his early 20s, so sudden onset dementia kind of goes out the window.
Yeah.
He disappeared during a solo hike. No trace of him was ever found, but except for his backpack. They found his backpack and nothing else has ever been found. No trace of his body, no remains, nothing. And you want to know the best part of this? Search and Rescue brought in a team of dogs to track him. The dogs picked up the scent, followed it for about 100 yards, and said, "Hell no, we're not going any farther."
Well, now.
Dogs refused to track once they got to a certain point. They were ready to go to the truck.
Isn't that curious? Have we not discussed that exact same scenario in several shows, and including one that I had with a student of mine up in Washington? He had a Connie Corso. Those things are not little dogs that heard some calls, pissed down his leg, and ran into the tent and refused.
That's a dog that was bred to hunt lions.
Correct.
That was the African Mastiff. It was bred to hunt lions.
Absolutely refused to come out of the tent until they unasked the AO, which is, that's telling right there. So if those search dogs, which are bred, and Robbie knows this because he's a tracker, they're bred to do that, right?
Yep. Well, I mean, all working dogs, and I can tell you this from my time as a canine handler, those dogs live to do whatever it is they're trained to do.
Like, dude, I'm on the job. Let's get after it.
So for them to refuse to do their job is like somebody refusing to breathe.
Correct, because they live for that. It's like an attack dog not wanting a bite dog not wanting to bite. They live for it. So if a canine says we ain't going there, what we always say, we should probably
trust your dog.
Trust your dog. Trust your dog, son. He's got better instincts than you do.
Yeah, I've worked with. I was never a dog handler like Robbie was, but I've worked with dog handlers many a time. We started working with them with bite dogs when I was with the riot team, and once I was on patrol, and even the hospital had dogs. But I've worked with those dogs on a number of occasions, and those tracking dogs, that's what they live for. They cannot wait to get out of the truck and get after somebody. And for a tracking dog to just reach a certain point and go, nope, I'm done.
Yeah.
That's spooky.
Like Jeremy just said, those dogs were channeling their inner Doc at a dollhouse. 100%, sir.
Nope.
Nope. We
Yeah,
got
Doc wouldn't even look at it.
I was forward, baby. I was following the road.
That. Never mind.
Yeah. We gone. We're heading
Yeah,
that way.
so this one, this Timothy Barnes one is eerily similar to the Julian Sands one.
And what year was that?
This was in 1990. He was an experienced hiker who had won awards. He was hiking a clearly marked trail. It was a trail that other people were using that day. He disappeared on a solo hike, and the only thing ever recovered was his backpack. And the dogs tracked up to the point where they found the backpack, and then they were like, deuces, I'm out.
Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, dude, I mean, if you're gone like a fart in the wind and all they see is a backpack and the dogs say nope, we're just gonna write that one off. You know what I mean?
My guess is, and now this is just me guessing I wasn't there, but just from the scene that the article the picture it painted, they tracked up to the point where the backpack was. My guess is he saw something that scared him and ditched the backpack to lighten his load so he could run faster.
Wow.
Yeah. Or something snatched him right off the trail and the backpack just fell.
Yeah. I mean, either way is not a good scenario, because if you're jettisoning weight, just like a aircraft crashing, keeping, no engines. Yeah, dude, if you're jettisoning extra weight just to make sure you survive longer, that's not a good thing. And then, I agree with Robbie saying you could have just snatched him right off.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Did you guys hear that? What was that that kind of hissing noise? But correct me if I'm wrong. But backpackers. I've done a lot of camping and fishing, but I've never been like one for just backpacking out into the wilderness. Backpackers, especially if they're being chased by a predator, will jettison the backpack in hopes that they'll go after the backpack for looking for food.
Because it's got food in it. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, yeah, and either way, but
whatever it wasn't interested in the backpack. We wanted some long pig.
And they found the backpack on the trail. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So what are trails to predators that are more apex than us?
Game trails.
Game trails.
There you go. They're game trails. When we go deer hunting, we're looking for game trails. That's where we're going to set our freaking blind up.
Yeah, that's all a nature trail is a human game trail.
100%. That's all it is. And they cue into the same behaviors and observations as we do.
That's why other predators hunt off hiking trails, mountain lions.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just like the little boy that got snatched out of his daddy's hands up in Boulder, over 2 decades ago. I mean, he was in between multiple people, and that mountain lion freaking tagged him, dragged him by the back of the neck down the freaking mountainside, right off the trail, right off his daddy's arms.
Yep.
Doc, do you think little people live in the dollhouses? Man, I don't know what lives in the dollhouses. I ain't there to sell them any Mary Kay or Amway or Tupperware, so I don't want to find out.
When you're talking about that doll village out there in the woods by Moon Valley,
yeah,
the locals say, and Eric Testerman has had multiple people tell him this, and I've had a few people tell me this, that if you go by there at night and look at that little doll village and then go up the road and come back, things will not be in the same spot.
No,
we don't know that for sure because we went by at Mock Jesus the last time we went by.
Yeah. Roxanne, Doc, the dolls won't hurt you. No, they will not.
Because he ain't slowing down to find out.
Because we went by at Mock Jesus.
Because they will not be able to keep up with me. So they can't catch you. They can't hurt you. That's the way I look at it. Good Lord.
Just a guy Said, Wyatt, did they just stop updating anything on the Arkansas bear attack on that camper after euthanizing the bear came back is not the one that attacked him? Yeah, that was the last I heard about it.
Oh,
That was literally the last thing I heard was
Yeah,
they euthanized the bear, and when they did a necropsy, there was no human tissue in that bear's stomach.
poor
Yeah, I think they
bear.
just stopped talking about it just hopes that people would just let it
Because
go.
the guy was from here in Springfield.
Bless that sweet little bear's heart. That bear didn't do nothing. It didn't hurt nobody. It was just living its little bear life. Bless his heart. Dickhead. Sorry. Anyway, yeah, that's just wrong. Don't do that. Hey, I'm almost toxic. Became a new member.
Awesome. Thank you so
Right
much.
on there.
Appreciate that.
I love Jesus for the cuss a little. I can reflect, sir.
Wyatt says there's a theory. So there's some theories now that it was a pack of dogmen. Dude, that area is prime for it. That whole area down there where he's camped. You know, they use the Arkansas Game and Fish says there's no wolves down there, but I've heard wolves howling in that park.
Dude. Okay, and how long have wolves supposed to been out of that area, DA?
Well, here in Missouri, they claim the last of the gray wolves were killed out of Missouri in the late 1800s. But I know for a fact, as recently as the last 2 years, that gray wolves have been showing up on game cameras from people I know in the area.
Yep.
Well, Eric's seen them in his property,
Yeah.
right?
He's had both gray and red wolves on his property.
Dude, when we went backpacking up in the Wind River Range up in Wyoming several years ago, they're like, "Oh, there's no wolves up here. There's no wolves up here." Dude, I heard American Werewolf in London, like maybe a quarter mile from our camp, and I said, "I grew up with coyotes. That ain't no coyote."
Just a guy. The last time I camped down there was before I had a cell phone. So it's been a hot minute since I was down there. And I know this was in the 90s when I heard howls down there then. But I haven't camped down there in a good long time. But I know that area very well.
So there shouldn't have been wolves there for like more than a century.
Right. They say that most wolves have been killed out. Well, the wolf population have been killed out of the Ozarks in like 1885 or something like that. They said the last grizzly bear in Missouri was killed out in 1866.
What about you, Robbie, in your area?
I mean, y'all seen that picture of that big wolf track that I found out behind my dad's shop?
I'm just saying.
Well, that big ass wolf track we found down in Joe Bald.
That wasn't no coyote outside your house, Robbie, outside your dad's house.
No.
I mean, a coyote's the size of a
It
freaking
was
dog.
that big around.
Yeah. Dude,
The one Robbie found, you know the Jolly Roger pocket knife.
Yeah.
Robbie laid one of those next to that track, and it was an inch on either side of that black knife.
I mean, okay, Ranger was 110 pounds when he passed, and his paws were like yay big around. That ain't no and he was a big dog. That ain't no freaking.
The track that me and Robbie found was bigger in diameter than like a saucer for a cup.
Good Lord.
Yeah,
It was
big.
every bit of 6.5, 7 inches across.
And it was inside that hunting blind. We called it a hunting blind because I mean, there's no, because it was right on a game trail.
So
And it
pad
looked like a
to
big
pad.
bird nest. Yeah, all the way across. Literally,
Bottom of pad to tip of claws.
literally, it was probably that big around.
Good Lord.
And deep, too. It's a good half inch into that. And granted, that was sandy soil, so.
It's going to compress better.
Yeah.
God.
But it was still good 3/4 of an inch to an inch deep, I would say, at least.
Now, and that was in Joe Bald?
That was down Joe Bald.
There's no wolves down there, according to
we found that the day after we found the
Me and Robbie heard wolves howl in Joe Bald's. We were there one night. We could hear them across the freaking lake.
But according to the Department of Wildlife, there's no wolves in there.
That's what they try to say.
Well,
but I've got game camera images to prove otherwise.
The night before that, Doc, before we found that was the night we found the track in that little track trap, and then we come back the next day to cast it, and the vehicle tire track was driven right through it. But we also saw eye shine right next to where we found that blind.
That was the night we were getting followed by that 24-hour service van that Had no
Yeah.
phone number or company
Oh,
name on it.
Man, I wish I'd have been there with y'all.
I do too, brother.
Damn it.
You were supposed to be there, and you
Yeah.
couldn't over that time, but
Well,
you could.
Doc, when I took you down to Joe Bald, where we went across that little bridge up into the woods, we weren't 30 yards from there when we saw that eye shine.
No, we were barely inside, and we both looked at each other and were like, yeah, all we got is small stuff. So
You both had nines.
what time was it, Robbie?
1:30 time to get the heck out of here.
Yeah, we were ready to get going real quick. Yeah, because I asked D, I was like, dude, did you see that? And he's like, yeah.
And a couple of places we saw dark shadows move between trees.
It was creepy, man.
The time that the three of us were there with Noah that time, we were getting paced out of there when we walked up to where the tree was that you got the video from. Remember, we stopped. We had those. We had
Bless
those. Bless you.
Bless you, sweet pickles.
Remember, we had those.
Sorry, I thought I had a third one there, but it didn't pan out.
Remember, we had the ear pros on, and we could hear something pacing us back out.
Dude, the one off to the left of us?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's funny because when DA and I were there, the eye shine went from left to right across that freaking trail, dude.
Went over toward that area where the woods get thicker.
Yep, right where me and Robbie heard it pacing us because he was like, "Do you hear that?" I was like, "Yeah, I hear that."
Doc, just a guy who yaps, says, if we can get a picture of a dog man on all fours, would it be possible to see the differences in the hind leg structure in comparison to a photo of a normal wolf?
Man, I don't know. I'm no zoologist, man. So I possibly, I mean, because people have heard and people have reported hearing cracking sounds when they came from forelegs to a bipedal position. So I don't know. I mean, could the back be a little bit higher? Could the tail end be a little bit higher? Possibly. You know, like a German Shepherd slope down this way and a normal dog is this way. Could it be a little higher? Maybe, but I'm not a zoologist, man. So I could say possibly, but I'm not an expert on this. What do y'all offer to that?
My guess is we would be able to find some differences, but I have heard so many of those stories where they talk about before it got up, they heard that popping. So I think the morphology of their front paws can reposition, almost like that they're rolling their knuckles in and then walking like their paws.
Right. Yeah,
which would make sense because it could cover a lot more territory on all fours than it could on two legs.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of something because if they rotate up from that position, they can move their knuckles out and have hands, and then could their back be a little bit higher? Maybe, I don't know. What do you think, Robbie?
I think there's more than one type of creature out there. I think people see different things, and some of like what DA saw, I honestly believe that's a different type of creature than what some of these other people have seen.
Well, look at I know there's got to be regional variances. Look at black bears. Black bears alone have like either 24 or 26 different subspecies.
Hey, dude, look at rattlesnakes. I mean, I freaking hate snakes, but look at rattlesnakes. There's like 27 to 43, depending on who you look at, different subsets of them.
And we got like 6 of them here in Missouri.
Right.
Well,
that's what I'm saying.
Shark. There's over 500
Thank you, Wyatt.
species of sharks. They're all sharks, but how different does a hammerhead look from a thresher shark?
Correct.
And how different does a
bull
thresher look?
shark or a whale shark or a nurse shark, you know?
And skates and rays are technically in the shark family. Look how different they look.
What'd you call me?
You was the ray, not.
But it's true though. I mean, there's so many different variations that who knows? I don't know. That's a good question. It's a very good question.
Well, I got another one for you. And this one's going to sound a little familiar to another one that went missing. This was in Crater Lake in Oregon. The guy's name was Charles McCullough, and he went missing in 1975. He was in his 20s. So I think we can rule out him being in poor physical health.
Mm-hmm.
He was a photographer exploring the park. A massive search was enacted. They went over an area multiple times. Lots of searchers were called out, and for 2 years, nothing was ever found. The search went on for weeks, but after 2 years, a park ranger discovered bits of bone and clothing in areas that had been heavily searched. And when they called in investigators, this is directly from the report. The investigators noted that the remains seemed to be placed and not scattered by wildlife.
That's funny. I just watched that movie the other day, Creature from Crater Lake.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it was based on any of that, but it was supposed to be in the same area.
Yeah, because Bowers just asked that. So the bones being placed versus scattered. So Robbie, I'm not trying to pick on you, man, but I mean, this is your area.
Pick away.
It's your wheelhouse. So if they were scattered versus creature versus like your predator placement, would they be on top of the surface of the soil versus natural dispersion with covering of the earth and things like that?
And y'all both been hunting. You know how it is. Scavengers are gonna pick, like, porcupines, raccoons, and possums, and all kinds of things like that are gonna pick up bones and morsels, and they're gonna drag them from here to yonder, and they're gonna be all over the place. From what DA's explaining and describing, is they're all in one spot.
They were arranged.
Not many predators, even bears, even if they bury their kill, they're buried, like you said, underneath something. But not many predators put all their stuff, once they're finished eating it,
into one
in
place.
one little spot, right here in this one little area. I mean,
just a guy, you're correct. There was a missing person whose remains were discovered within 100 yards of the ranger station.
We had a show about that. I remember us talking about that. So Robbie, what you're saying there's with scavengers, there's a natural dispersion versus what this one was found was more localized.
I mean, typically you do a search and rescue like that, and you find, unless somebody or something has buried a body and you uncover it that way, you can find all the remains. If you find remains out in the wild, and DA can back me up on this, you find typically 1 or 2 bones in an area.
Maybe a tooth.
And then you start spreading your search out from that, because, like I said, every little scavenger in the woods is going to come in and pick, start picking things up and picking stuff off of them. Porcupines eat bones, number one. So, if there's porcupines in the area, yeah.
Kiss my grits. I never knew that.
Yeah. That's why one of the things that, that I argue with people about when they say, well, I ain't never seen one. Well, do you have porcupines in the area? Well, yeah. Well, they eat bones. So if there's bones left around, porcupines will eat it.
Son of a gun.
Yeah.
Dog my cats. I'm today's years old knowing that. Huh. Porcupines eat bones. Hey, thank you.
Hey, Doc.
That's up.
These next 2 missing persons are right in your backyard.
All right, let's hit it, Catfish.
Both of them are from Rocky Mountain National Park.
Uh-oh.
First one happened in 2019. A guy by the name of James Pruitt, 70 years old at the time he went missing.
I heard
vanished during a day hike. They found his car at the trailhead. No clues ever were found despite weeks of searching. You can't tell me a 70-year-old man hiked 30 miles out of that canyon.
No. And from everything I was reading, he was in good physical health. He was an experienced hiker. And so for him to just go missing with absolutely no trace. I mean, Rocky Mountain National Park, for those of you who've been out there, is a big park, beautiful park. But yeah,
you could easily go missing and not get found in Rocky Mountain National.
You could, but I mean, on a common trail out there that he was on,
right?
That is just like Julian Sands. It's the whole there's a whole similarity. Two different states, but very similar circumstances. Wow.
Next one was in 2015, just outside Rocky Mountain National. Kid by the name of Joe Keller. He was a long distance runner on his school track team. He was out running trails, building up his endurance for a meet. He disappeared during a jog near a dude ranch just outside the park. His remains were found a year later in rough terrain, but they've got no explanation on how he got there. In rough terrain, miles away from his running route.
That's so weird because, I mean, this kid was a very experienced cross-country runner. He was from Tennessee. But one of the things, and I remember this case, they were postulating that, he ran off a trail, and stumbled off of a cliff edge and fell down. I mean, is that plausible? Yeah, but is that what really freaking happened? I mean, because how many miles was he from his run trail? He was way off path.
This is a lot. You remember the woman that died up here in the horse pasture a couple of years ago, DA, the one that I based in the first book, my first book off of. They searched, couldn't find nothing. Found one of her dogs, but couldn't find the others. And then all of a sudden, they find her off a ravine, and she fell off a ravine and broke her neck. I'm not 100%, Rodney will probably back me up on this because I don't think he buys it either, that this woman who was,
Thank you, Larry.
Worked for EMS, was really, even for her age, was in good health, just slipped, fell off a cliff and broke her neck, or off a ravine.
I mean, that's just
and took one of her dogs with her.
That's a huge coinky dink. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a huge freaking coinky dink. And I don't know, for this kid to be that far off, he's an experienced cross-country runner. It's not like he doesn't know how to run in that kind of terrain. So, and those are not the thing about it. These trails these people are going missing on, like Julian Sands, these are not uber difficult trails. It's not like you got a lot of boulder fields and shell scrabble and everything to scramble across or anything like that. So, Yeah,
I mean, it'd be different if these people are going missing on these like expert and above level trails, but they're going missing on these like
easy day hikes.
Easy, just what you go out just to,
BS on the play.
Yeah.
Rodney said he don't have one to throw, but I think he would throw one if he had one.
Yeah, I'll throw one for him too. So there you go. Yeah, well, I mean, that's just
here's another one found mysteriously.
That's too convenient, dude. It's too convenient.
Here's another one found mysteriously. Olympic National Park in Washington State. A guy by the name of Jacob Gray went missing in 2017. Jacob Gray was a competitive mountain biker. He was mountain biking the trails in Olympic National Park. They found his mountain bike on the trail, abandoned on the trail. Months later, miles away, they found his body in rugged terrain halfway up the side of a mountain.
So how did his bike and his body get that far apart?
Yeah.
I mean...
Oh, and his gear, the gear that he had on the bike, because he was going to be out there for a while riding, the gear he had on his bike was scattered around the area.
Sounds suspiciously like a certain story from a famous park in between Kentucky and Tennessee, don't it, DA?
Does sound kind of like it.
That's a little bit That's interesting. Yeah. I mean, how many of these could be thrown on all these?
Well, I'm only bringing you ones that you can throw them on. I'm not just ones that were easily solved. I'm not even mentioning those. I'm only bringing the weird ones. Here's one from Grand Canyon, actually two from Grand Canyon National Park, both of them in 2015. The first one was a young lady named Morgan Heimer. She was a 22-year-old experienced river guide who disappeared during a rafting trip. Last seen near the Colorado River, and no trace of her has ever been found.
No, man, come on.
An experienced rafting guide. And the very same year, a guy by the name of Drake Kramer, a 21-year-old from Texas. His dad told him that he wanted to take a break and be with Mother Earth. He decided to go camping in the Grand Canyon. He went to the Grand Canyon alone and vanished, never to be found.
So these people just gone like a fart in the woods.
Right.
Mm.
Even though the Grand Canyon's a national park and you have to file a camping guide to let them know where you're camping and when you'll be back.
Well, and we've said this before, but you look at the missing 411 report that Pilates, he has a specific formula, that he goes by. So it has to hit that criteria before it gets into his report. But how many more are really suspicious and have things that that just don't make his cut just because of one thing here or there that that don't even get noticed because they're not in that report.
Arlen, he said, Arlen Neal says the guy got thrown from his bike. Yeah, he must have been really traveling to hit a stump and throw his body halfway up a mountain 3 miles away.
Yeah, he must have been running about 300 miles an hour. That must have been one of them Swiss mountain bikes.
Must have been. Here's a couple more in Yosemite. Again, Yosemite. Michael Dahl, D-A-H-L, 2015. Vanished mysteriously, but was later found alive but badly injured. His case is unusual because he reappeared. And his story didn't make sense. The official story is that he was dragged off from his camp, and of course they try to say it was a bear, but he said he managed to escape. He managed to stumble back in, dehydrated and badly hurt, but the injuries were not consistent with a bear attack.
Is that the one that died right after he walked back in? The ranger station. Okay, yeah. I thought that sounded familiar.
I remember us talking about that one. So he walked in, told him he had been attacked, and then just collapsed.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, he collapsed right there.
Here's another one from Yosemite. You guys are going to love this one. Her name was Patricia Hicks. She went missing in 1983. In 1994, they found her hand. And in 2005, they found her skull. They were both found on Yosemite Summit Meadow, which is, an area where people do camp. But it wasn't until 2022 that they were able to identify by a DNA who the bones belonged to. But her hand and skull were found decades apart. They're trying to claim this was because of a cult.
Okay. Robbie, you believe that, don't you?
Where's that little yellow thing that you got usually have in your hand, Doc?
I can believe they could find the hand and the skull at the same time, but decades apart?
Yeah.
I would believe they would find the hand and say, okay, here's the hand. Let's start searching. And they search and find the skull, way away from it, find Danny, but not a decade later.
And I would like to know the geographic location in which the hand and the skull were found in. How big of an area are we talking about?
Well, and generally you go in, you find something like that, especially when somebody's been missing, and then years later you find something like that. It's like, okay, we got a missing persons case. It's still open. This could possibly be that person. Somebody found this. Law enforcement's going to come back in and start doing another search.
It's opened up a whole investigation. Yep, 100%.
So you would think, but you don't find it. You find the hand, then you don't find the skull for a couple of decades.
Yeah.
And that one's a weird one.
I would like to know the geographic proximity in which these two items were found. You know what I mean? Because that might give you an idea of range of something.
Well, they did say that they were both found in an area known as Summit Meadow. But, you know, if you found a hand in an area, you're going to search that area pretty thorough. So why was it a decade later the skull was found in that same area?
That is interesting.
Muy interesante.
Muy interesante, gentlemen.
Here's your one from Badlands National Park in South Dakota. A guy by the name of Joshua Jacobson went missing in 2015. He entered the park in July and disappeared, but they found his body in a ravine several months later. I think it was in September of 2015 when they found it. Here's the part you guys are going to like. Cause of death and circumstances of disappearance were never revealed.
That ravine must have protected him a little bit then.
It's like the train station.
They never released cause of death or what happened to him, or the condition of the body, for that matter, that he was found.
Okay, so if they never released even an estimated cause of death, a guess of death, that's one thing. But if there were anything within the shadow of a doubt, wouldn't they have said something?
I should have said something.
Versus going...
Doc, you're muted.
I didn't do it. Did the same thing to you earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, would they have given had it been a undetermined cause of death? I don't know.
Hey, Miss Lene, happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Angela Monroe. It was a bear.
Yeah, they still found him holding the picnic basket.
It wasn't me. It was the one-armed bear.
Hey, boo-boo. Let's go get an unsuspecting hiker, boo-boo. Interesting.
In 2017 in Grand Canyon, a Chinese national named Zhongyan Wan went missing while vacationing. His car was found abandoned near the trailhead. He was going for a day hike in Grand Canyon National Park. No remains or belongings. Nothing he had with him at all. Nothing has ever been found.
Good.
On a marked trail.
And if it's a marked trail, you know they have designated search areas along each side of those trails.
Yep.
Holy crap. Dude.
Not a single trace of the guy has ever been found.
That's honestly, man, I ain't trying to be all weird. That's kind of sad. You know, I mean, like this dude he's freaking gone, man. Golly. That's horrible. Wow.
I tell you the one I keep going back to though, like in my head, is the dude on the mountain bike. You know, how do you justify that? How do you explain that? He didn't get dragged off halfway up a mountain by a mountain lion,
right?
And his bike was found intact. His gear was scattered. So how do you say he wandered off the trail? Why the hell would he get off his bike and go wander off the trail?
Correct. Yeah.
And here's the thing: if he was riding his bike and he was attacked by a predator, then more than likely there's going to be some damage to the bike.
Exactly.
Almost like something just snatched him right off the back of it.
Unless, unless he sees something and he realizes, I don't know, maybe it's gaining on him. He can't get out of the way and he just decides to, get off the bike. Who knows? I don't know, man. That's very thought-provoking. Huh. Kay Bowers, Old Man Hunter, still gets me. Yeah. One disappeared with his family all around him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
His rifle still there and everything. Yeah, I remember that one.
The one that set his rifle against a tree and
Yep.
to track the deer.
Yep. But let me ask you this too. Let's go a little bit further. What kind of cave systems are in these areas?
Well, they're all rugged mountainous areas, so I'd say probably quite a few. Just a guy says, "What if they actually did? Is there a theory that a baby or woman cries coming from the forest are cryptids?" Yeah, the Native Americans used to tell you if you hear, well, they still do, tell you if you hear a woman crying or a baby crying in the woods, especially at night, don't go, because you won't come back. So yeah, I would definitely say if you're hearing what sounds like a baby crying in the woods, yeah, call for backup. Call for somebody, like call a ranger. Like, hey, we're hearing a baby crying up here. We need some help looking for it.
Yeah, don't answer it.
Especially if you hear your own name being called from the woods.
Now, I'm gonna say something that y'all have probably heard too, because we're all of Appalachian descent. Don't whistle in the woods at nighttime. Dude, my grandma told me that. My mama told me that. My daddy told me that. Don't whistle in the woods at nighttime.
I don't even whistle outdoors at night,
Hell
let
no,
alone in the woods.
I don't either. Yeah.
Yeah, because you may not like what answers you.
Yeah. Yeah. And if something calls to you from the woods and they call you by name, yeah, then it's definitely time to.
Have you watched the guy that is not a Taco Reacts? He reacts to all the funny videos.
Yeah, dude's funny.
Yeah, he actually I think he's from the lower part of South Carolina. He actually had one of his videos, and I saw it, and I tried to find it and save it and send it to y'all. But he was like, normally his are funny videos. He was like,
yeah,
you know what? He said, when your buddies call you from the mountains of South Carolina to come up and go do a Bigfoot hunt, you're thinking, it's fun. It's ha, 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 all this stuff. Something happened to that boy when he come up here.
Really?
Yeah. Because he was like, I'm going to tell you, if you're in Appalachia, in the Appalachian Mountains at night, and you hear stuff, and your buddy says, when you say, what is that? And your buddy says, don't worry about it. Get in the truck. It's time to go. He said, you get in the truck and you go.
Yeah. Listen to your buddy is what he's saying.
Yeah.
Robbie, this question's kind of more for you because I didn't really watch his show. He says, is the Midnight Whistler an actual Bigfoot from native folklore, or was that something the mountain monsters made up?
I have never heard of the Midnight Whistler in Cherokee or any kind of other. There's some of those that they like Spearfinger. Obviously, they use the name pretty much and a little bit of the lore. They use the Wampus Cat and maybe one or two others that are actual Native American, but for the most part, I've never. Some of those things that they say are like the Cherokee Devil. Never heard of the Cherokee Devil.
Neither.
Just never heard of it. So I think they read a lot of stuff, or they read a lot of stuff because obviously they're not on anymore. They read a lot of stuff and just kind of mixed. Cherokee Devils, I think that they took a lot of the Sukaloo legends and things like that, and I think they mixed it because when you start reading about the Sukaloo, there's not really a whole lot of scary stuff about it because the Cherokee never really talk about Bigfoot as anything other than more like it's just something
It's
that
just
they share the wood. Yeah, it's just there. They share the woods with it. But you start looking at the Cherokee Devil, it's all mind control, and it's all evil, and it does all this stuff to them, and it turned Buck and Huckleberry, whichever one of them, it turned them crazy and all this kind of stuff. There's nothing about that in Cherokee legend that I've ever. Well, I can't say there's nothing because I haven't read everything, but nothing that I've read says anything about that. I saw that episode with the Midnight Whistler, but I've never heard of it other than on that show. So I think they read a lot of the legends and they just kind of sensationalized it for ratings. What it was for. Hope that answered your question.
Yes.
So, you with everything we've talked about tonight, does that cast any sort of different light on some of the things we've experienced? What do you think the situation would have been like if it had just been one of us alone in Moon Valley that night?
Oh man.
Well,
Powder
Or
would have
Blunk on the end of Blunk Road, for that matter.
I mean, powder would have been turned into smoke. I mean, I honestly think the
well, I guess it really depends on which one of us you're talking about, Da.
I mean, the Moon Valley incident to me, I'm just going to say from my perspective, the Moon Valley incident to me, that was pretty scary. I mean, because could a curious encounter turn into an aggressive encounter? I don't know, man. I mean, that's just me.
Well, there's no doubt in my military mind that night on Combs Ferry, if there had been just one of us left behind with the boat, they wouldn't have been there when the boat got back.
With that many sets of eye shine, but I mean, we only saw 3 that night in Moon Valley, and there were several of us, but even with 1 against 3, odds still ain't in your favor. But because you're definitely the low man in that game. But the whole Combs Ferry thing, that's when Steve hurt his leg, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. So if that was just one of you, man, you might have been,
2 is 1, 1 is gone.
yeah, you might have been doo-doo. I don't know. You know, you might have been a snack.
Yeah. I don't think that was an aggressive encounter how it was, but I think if things had gone differently, like one of us had to stay behind, it probably would have turned into an aggressive encounter.
So do you think the reason it didn't feel aggressive was just the numbers that were there on your side?
Well,
and I'm not trying to be devil's advocate. I'm genuinely curious.
Yeah, yes, to an extent. I think that was part of it.
Well, they got bolder the less of us there were.
Yeah, so I think that's part of it. But I think they were smart enough to understand that we were leaving, which is what they wanted us to do. But had it been one of us that stayed, maybe that curiosity would have overrode the they're leaving, and it turned into, well, let's go check this thing out now.
Right. Yeah. Could have been a genuine, because y'all didn't have anything thrown at y'all or anything like that.
Oh yeah, we did.
Oh, you did.
Yeah, I can't remember if anything was thrown at us at that stage, but definitely when me, you, and Noah got on there first.
Yeah, we were hearing rocks and stuff coming at us through the trees.
And
there toward the end, we were hearing stuff too. When it was starting to happen when it was the 5 of us, and when it was just the 3 of us after the boat had left that second time, it got a little more active then.
I was focused on a little bit. I wasn't focused on things being thrown at us. I was focused on where the heck they were.
They were close enough. They'd come in close enough on us at the end there in Combs Ferry that Robbie, Noah, and I were all standing with our legs in the water, waiting for that boat to come back with our weapons out.
So yeah, that's interesting, man. That's interesting.
Just a guy, he carried. Doc knows all about the Missouri tree trout.
We've
shown him those pictures many times.
Yeah, well,
Doc got those pictures sent to him like literally
minutes after we got out of there. As soon as we got internet, we were texting Doc.
And when we went back to Combs Ferry, me and you, Wyatt, Estes, Robbie, Noah, saw another chunk of pelt up in a tree, 10, 12 feet up in a tree. So freaking, because me and Wyatt y'all were going ahead. Me and Wyatt were sitting there backing up, trying to find that freaking path. Remember, Robbie? We were trying to find that freaking path, and it was staying off of the trail that will give its prints.
Because we got a
And any
picture of
prints
that.
we did find were partials.
Yeah,
We got a picture of that other chunk somewhere with your water bottle in it for
Yeah.
scale.
yeah. Wyatt took that one, I believe.
Mhm.
So I think he showed it on one of his shows. Or one of the
El
shows.
Sicario 1875 says, "What are you guys' opinions on the Genosqua? Are they thriving here in the lower 48 or up north?" I've heard of Gugway sightings down this low. I've even heard of Gugway sightings in East Texas. But all the Genosqua sightings I've heard about were all like up in Canada and along the very edge of the U.S. border where it's cold.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think a lot of what Fred talks about up in Alaska is probably Genosqua.
From the aggressiveness, yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, because the one that threw the freaking rock at him, almost crushed his head in.
Mhm.
Yeah, those were some aggressive creatures, man. Because it was him, his uncle, and his cousin.
Yeah, I know him and his uncle, but I think was
Him, his
that
uncle, and his cousin, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. That's some scary stuff. All right, so we're at a 15-minute warning.
Well, we're going to start winding her down soon. When we as we're reaching toward the end of this one and winding her down, one thing we want to point out about all of them that we talked about tonight, all of these folks were either never found, or if they were found under some very bizarre circumstances. These are all odd cases, and this is just the tip of the iceberg, folks. There are thousands of cases like this, and we didn't even jump into any of the missing 411 cases. The Dennis Martin case, I believe, was covered by missing 411, but these others were ones that I pulled out of the hat. I did some digging on my own and found ones that had not been covered. The missing 411 has been profiling not only people that went missing, but hunters, and most recently, he's been doing ones people missing in town.
Oof.
People that went missing under these same circumstances in and around civilized areas. So this is not a new phenomenon. It's been going on for decades, maybe even longer than that. I mean, looking back at law enforcement in the 1930s, 40s, and 50s, there wasn't a centralized database, so none of this stuff was ever corroborated with other agencies. It wasn't until the advent of really good computers till we started getting interagency sharing, and even then, cross-jurisdictional lines, departments rarely shared information. So God knows how many of these disappearances just fell through the cracks that we will probably never know about. But it's enough to make your head spin. According to NAM USA, over 600,000 people are reported missing every year. Now, that's reported missing people. A lot of those turn up. Those are cases where, people have been reported to law enforcement or reported to some governmental agency as missing. A lot of those turn up. A lot of those wind up being, homicide investigations. But a good percentage of them there's no trace ever found, and they never turn up. So if you look at the sheer number of people, that's reported cases. When you start talking about undocumented people, homeless people that go missing, nobody reports those missing, and law enforcement has no clue. So really, we have no idea how many people go missing every year.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking. I mean, you look at the missing and murder indigenous women's.
There's that highway in Canada they call the Highway of Tears.
And not only those, but the ones here in the States, 30 to 40,000 a year.
Yeah.
Gone.
And I can tell you the reservations are some places that, if there's cryptid activity, that's where it's going to be.
Well, Jesus even said that in some of his shows.
I've driven through the Navajo res at night, and I'll tell you that there's very few places on this earth more creepy than driving through the Navajo res at night.
My buddy, y'all know this very well. He saw a freaking skinwalker. Had to have been.
So, folks, it's a dangerous business going out your front door. And if you're going to be spending any time out in the woods, doubly so. There's lots of things out there that can and will kill you that have nothing to do with people. But you gotta factor them in as well. You know what we refer to as the greater North American meth head. You've got to be careful when you go out there. Bears, wolves, mountain lions, coyotes, all manner of snakes. There are things out there that can and will get you. That's before you even throw in the possibility of cryptids taking you. And if you're not preparing for something bad happening when you go out in the woods, if you're not prepared for that, then you're preparing to die. Basically,
Man,
you've got to have a plan. You've got to have a way to protect yourself, and you've got to have somebody that's not with you that knows where you're going and when you're supposed to be back, because any number of things can happen out there that can turn fatal. If you get off the beaten path, you may not have 911 at all. You may not have basic 911 service. You might not have cell signal at all. There was a lady in one of the national parks, I think it was Yosemite, rolled her ankle, and her husband said, "I'll go back to the car where I can get a phone signal, and I'll call and get rescue in here," because she couldn't walk. By the time he got back, and it was just like an hour or so, by the time he got back to her, she'd already been killed and torn apart by coyotes. So it doesn't take long, and even something as simple as a rolled ankle can be fatal. So, folks, it's 10 minutes till the top of the hour. We're going to start winding things down because we cannot go over. We've got another show waiting in the wings. Make sure you check out all of our affiliates. Check out the good folks over at Dark Angel Medical. He just left the room. Dark Angel Medical is a veteran-owned company. It's owned by our buddy Doc. They package birthdays in boxes. They have 210 saves to date. That's 210 people alive because of what Dark Angel's doing. They make high-end med kits, everything from a first aid kit all the way up to trauma kits. If you're going to be out in the woods, take a med kit, because if you don't, you're going to wish you needed it. It's one of those cases where it's like a parachute. It's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Because if you ever need it and don't have it, you probably never need it again. They're HSA, FSA seller certified. And don't forget to use discount code CRYPTID20 for 20% off your entire order. Check out the good folks over at Scallywag Tactical. Make some of the best knives in the business. They are fantastic blades, great camp knives, great all-purpose knives. They got a knife for every occasion, for every pocketbook and every desire. They make fantastic blades and other survival gear as well. So check out scallywagtactical.com. Use discount code DARoberts10 for 10% off your checkout. And last but not least, our newest, SigwoArms.com. Sigwo Arms is a veteran-owned company based here in Springfield, Missouri. Manufacturer of fine pew-pews. And they also make freedom seeds, and they have distribution center for whisper pickles if you want a little quieter. But they're also the only one that's currently licensed to make Wild Hunt, codename Wild Hunt, and Wild Dark Frontiers engravings on your firearms. So check out SigwoArms.com. Let them know we sent you, and use discount code Bigfoot5 for 5% off your entire order. They have really good deals on ammo as well. So check them out. Let them know we sent them. Let them know we sent you. Tell the Codys we said hi. But we're proud to support all of our affiliates because they're all veteran and first responder owned, and that's something that's very important to us here at the show. We are very proud to support our veterans and our first responders, and this just reminds me perfect right here, the mission22.org. Do not forget, especially during the holiday season, that we lose 22 veterans a day to suicide, and that is 22 too many. Reach out to your friends and family that are first responders or veterans, any of the men and women that have worn uniforms that protect us here at home or abroad, because those folks deal with things the folks should not have to, but they do. And PTSD is a bastard, and I've dealt with it myself, and we all three have. It's one of those things that it's a demon on your back. It really is, and you shouldn't have to fight that alone. So reach out to the folks at Mission 22 or the 22 a Day Foundation. Let them know you've got issues, and they are there to help. It doesn't make you any less of a person to reach out for help. You wouldn't go into battle alone, so don't fight this alone. Reach out, and if those of you who know friends and family that have been in the uniforms, any uniform, doesn't matter what capacity, let them know you're thinking about them. Let them know you care, especially this holiday season, because the holidays are particularly rough on people that are going through a lot. I don't know about any more I can say that. Check out mission22.org or the odmp.com. ODMP is the Officer Down Memorial page. Officer Down Memorial page will show you the toll it's taken on our first responders on a daily basis. Both are active charities that the benefits go to help, in the case of the ODMP, for scholarships for the children of fallen law enforcement officers. And in Mission 22, they're there to help veterans. So reach out to one or the other. You'll see the contact numbers at the end of the show. And we're very proud that you guys chose to spend this evening before Thanksgiving with us. Hope you guys have a magnificent Turkey Day. We appreciate all of you guys hanging around with us. We've had a wonderful time here tonight. And boys, got anything else you guys want to throw in? Got to do the toast.
Thank y'all for being a part of our crazy adventures. Appreciate y'all.
Doc, you want to take us out with the toast tonight?
I sure will. So this comes from a Irish drinking song called The Parting Glass, and last part of it goes like this. But since it fell into my lot that I should rise and you should not, I'll gently rise and softly call, good night, and joy be to you all. Happy Thanksgiving and Slanjava.
Slanjava. We'll see you guys on Saturday night.
Slanja.
Plains, the winds are howling, saloon doors swinging, shadows growling. Three lawmen stand tough as rawhide. Yeah, Doc and DA, nothing can abide. Whiskey shots and poker faces, staring down the darkest spaces in this town where legends roam. These boys bring justice, sending evil home. Cryptid lawmen, wild and free, hunting monsters for all to see. With silver bullets and grit of steel, they fight the darkness, make the demons squeal. From dusty canyons to moonlit plains, justice rides with wind and rains. Cryptid lawmen, a fearsome sight, standing tall against the endless night. Jed's a howler, claws of steel. Doc's a biter, makes the devil real. But DA's a shifty one, a shape-shifting soul. Can turn to anything, takes any form, takes control. Tonight the chupacabras come to town, sucking the life from all around. But these lawmen, they ain't afraid. They'll face the darkness unafraid. Cryptid lawmen, wild and free, hunting monsters for all to see. With silver bullets and grit of steel, they fight the darkness, make the demons squeal. From dusty canyons to moonlit plains, justice rides with wind and rain. Cryptid lawmen, a fearsome sight, standing tall against the endless night. Full moon rises, bat wings flap, the air grows cold, a chill and trap. But these lawmen, they're ready to fight underneath the pale moonlight. Jed and Doc transform with a howl. DA shifts, becomes a night owl. Together they stand, a force so strong against the evil right in the road. Cryptid lawmen, wild and free, hunting monsters for all to see. With silver bullets and grit of steel, they fight the darkness, make the demons squeal. From dusty canyons to moonlit plains, justice
Boys, a most excellent show.